why we are coming together to like help each other feel more safe in our authentic selves, like our own energy. Because I don't know what it is, but I do feel that something's coming.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think we're all stepping into that next timeline, like we're shifting to where we're going to be needed, and wherever it is that we're being guided to be needed. Yeah. So I feel like this is just one, aspect and one thing that can actually really help us to really jumpstart, because it's like there's going to be so many things, whether it's like this or our careers and our business, or say we're mothers later on or whatever. I mean, I like that you're already a mother, but it's like you never know. Because especially when you live in the quantum field and you live in the unknown, like you're no longer predictable. Like it's not predictable anymore. So it's not like you're saying, okay, well, I'm going to apply to this job and work these hours and do this and do that. It's like, you don't know sometimes until like the last minute when the divine's like, okay, you're going to be inspired to take action on writing a book now. Or you're going to be going in this direction, or you're going to be healing this, so you can go here. And you're like, what?
And that's what I call just flowing with life. You're just flowing with the earth. And like time after time, like it's just, life is so much better. Life is so much better.
As scary as it is to be in the unknown and to be in the flow, especially since the ego is like, what are you going to do? And the ego needs to know. It's like more magical. Like especially being so many years heavy in my masculine of doing and working and just being really hard, and like, I wouldn't say like I was cold, but I definitely wasn't as warm-hearted as I am today, to where I'm just going with the flow. And back then I was just way more structured, and I did like to be more organized, and I did like to be structured, and I still have that in my life now, but it's just like, I love it's like a breath of fresh air. It's like I can breathe being in the flow. Like I feel just more in alignment with me, especially with emotion, like embracing my emotions and allowing myself to just be. Like I feel like that's the biggest thing that I have in this lifetime, is just being, not always doing, and it's like, and I feel like that's what's going to set the earth in balance, right? From everybody's doing and taking action to like a lot of us just slowing down. We need to slow down.
Yeah, I mean, that's like when the whole 2020, like the COVID thing happened, I'm like, yeah, this sucks. But honestly, we needed a collective reset. Like we needed a reason to slow down and get aligned with ourselves and rethink ourselves. And a lot of change was sparked then, and it's still going to continue to be sparked. Like, I don't think anybody is in the same place they were a year ago. Like, it's just so much has happened for everybody.
And that's exactly why people had such a hard time with the virus and with quarantine, because they were forced to slow down, and people are not really comfortable with just sitting with themselves. And like me, like this is how I live. Like I'm just here in my own space, like in my own mind, like But it's like people are not really comfortable with this, and I feel that this is like the vibration of the new earth. It's just about aligning with energy and the quantum field and really just flowing and not really forcing anything to happen, because sometimes I was forcing things that weren't really in alignment with my true authentic self. And I feel that that's what a lot of people are doing now. They're pushing and pushing because society tells us that's how we need to live our lives. But it's like, how do you want to live your life? Like, it's up to us. It's our choice. So
And that's part of what I think the thing too, as far as like, stepping into the fifth dimension or whatever. Like, this is where we're moving towards, where it's not about like us being a passenger of our lives and like trying to react and like plan ahead. And no, it's just flowing and just being present and just open to all possibilities, and then coming from a place of what you want to experience, like you said. And I think that's the biggest thing, that most people are not connected, but they don't realize what they want. Like, they don't realize deep down, and not even at an ego level, because ego level, you don't like, it's not about those ones. It's like soul level, like deep down, like what do you want to feel, like in your heart? What is it? Most people are disconnected from their own desires, from their own heart, and even desire. Period. Like there's so much around that, like pleasure and desire that people at that and be like, oh no, that's bad, that's wrong. Like you're like, you know, like there's so much to heal around even just feeling joy or feeling happy or doing what you want to do without having to feel like you're selfish or you're lazy or you're not. Like, yeah, there's a lot of that that's healing.
Yeah, because a lot of it comes from our own experiences and communicating our own experiences. Because when you realize, like, and this is like for a while, like this is what I did, but it's kind of like when you go through something, you know, and you speak on it, people don't feel alone. They're like, okay, well, and especially when you get more in depth with it, you're not just like, oh yeah, well, I did that. It's like, no, I did this and I took action here. I went through this. I had to, you know, struggle here or feel the emotion of struggle in order for me to have a breakthrough or whatever, or just like really get detailed on what you went through. You know, it really does help other people that are feeling like they're being called to do the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, especially like, and I just found this manifestation girl that I really love, and I feel like this can be applied in everywhere. But it's like so many things out there can be very, I wouldn't say sugar-coated, but they forget to mention the tough things. Like, say, for example, part of your manifestation and part of your growth is feeling the lower vibrational frequencies. It's not all high, because like, you know how sometimes they're like, oh, well, you can't manifest unless you're like in a higher vibration, which is true in one perspective. But they don't really go into detail of like, you're going to face challenges in order to get there. You're going to have to go through the complete opposite a lot of the times and take risks a lot of the times in order to have what it is that you want. But it's preparing you for it, for when you have it, you keep it.
Yeah.
There's no like temporary, whether it's love, whether it's money, whether it's friendships, whether it's a business. Like, if you were not prepared ahead of time in the ways that you are, by going through the struggling, by going through the lower vibrations, by going through the doubts, by going through the fear, by going through all of the risk, then you would not be able to keep it because you don't have the wisdom in order to keep it. So it's like really realizing like, yes, this is how I got through this. It's like your experience being, you know, helping others. And I that's what I love. Like, so like, that's why I'm okay feeling that lower energy, because I know it's getting me to where I want. And plus it feels very fulfilling to me. Like, I love feeling all emotions. Like, I don't care what it is. Like, I love feeling all emotions. People, like, if you've ever gone through hell and you've ever like hit rock bottom, it's almost like if you can go through that, you can freaking experience anything after that point. You know what I mean? To get to the top.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, every experience serves you in one way or another. It's like, and that's kind of what that's what alchemy is. Like, I'm very good at just playing with energy, like using my emotions. Like, it's so important. Manifestation, as far as like witchcraft now, emotions is like the best tool, and you use it.
Yeah.
You use like whatever you're doing, whatever action you're taking in the physical, you infuse it with that emotion, and that's how you create. Like, it's pure fuel. Like, people just like,
Yes. Because your emotions tell you where you want to go. Like, if you're really, like, say, for example, like, you were feeling sad, when you sit with your emotions of sadness and you ask yourself questions like, why am I sad? And they point to, well, I'm not happy going in this direction. Like, this direction makes me feel sad. But when I think about it, this direction over here makes me feel happy. That's how you make a decision. That's when you know. Exactly. But if you don't feel your emotions, you're not going to know what's going on. You're going to be totally oblivious. So, like, that's why emotions are so important, because they show you where your path is.
They show you exactly what's around you, exactly. Well, yeah, they show you what your vibration is in that moment and what you're doing, what the vibration is. Maybe you want to do something different. You want to switch something different. And now you know. It's just an alert.
Yeah.
To get your attention.
Yeah.
And there's no judgment. There's nothing bad or good. Like, that's how people, not only are they can't be themselves around others, but they're not honest with themselves. Like, they're so used to their masks that think that's who they are, or they're so used to their traumas and their things, and they think that's who they are, that they're not willing to go deeper. They're not willing to go underneath and actually look at it.
Yeah. Like, I'll even be honest with myself in regards to, yeah, I was totally a bitch then.
Yeah.
Or you know, I was really mean in this situation. Oh yeah, I remember when I lied about this. Like, I mean, I will go straight and I will call myself out. Like, because I'm all about wanting to be, like, if I know that I'm not being genuine or I'm not being kind, I want to freaking change that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't care. Judge me if you gotta, right? But nobody else is gonna know because I'm the one that's talking to myself, and unless somebody's telepathic, they're not gonna freaking know anyway. But it's like, and most of us are in the same boat anyway, and that's the thing that we don't want to really acknowledge. Well, some of us do, but that's why when you face your shadow, you see that you're no different than that person over there, or that person over there, or that you two in here. Like, we're all maybe different situations or different situations, but we're all similar. You know.
And I really feel that's the multidimensional human. It's like we are on a third dimensional reality, and so we are human. Like, that's who we are. We can't run away from those emotions because that's what's making us human. But there are other aspects of us that are like there's 5th, 6th, 7th, 11th. There's so many dimensions. There are so many aspects. And it's about really merging with these aspects and being one in this physical reality. And I feel that, you know, and when you both were talking about these things, I did feel the Arcturians coming in, and they were just saying, like, and that's the beautiful thing about the human, and that's what's beautiful about humanity, that we feel emotions, because a lot of, you know, like, these higher dimensional beings, they don't go through this like roller coaster rides of emotions. And so it's very beautiful to feel to feel comfortable with those emotions, because that's what creates a master. Like, it really, like, that's how we become masters. And those ascended masters that were here on Earth, there are other planets, but the ones on Earth, they really went through these emotions and they mastered those feelings. They really rewired the brain to work with the heart, to work with those emotions. Because what I've done personally is I shifted the way I was processing my experiences. Instead of saying, okay, what am I thinking? I shifted to, what am I feeling? And then I would analyze the feeling, like Erica was saying. Like, I was analyzing the feeling and not really the thought or the idea that was surfacing because of the experiences that I was having. And so I really think, or I really feel, that's how we shifted. And I really feel that humanity, really, that's what we are having to do now, is shift even just the wording of thinking to feeling, and really analyzing that and going back to our hearts. And what I found is that when I am here in my heart center, and I'm not really analyzing so much or thinking and coming up with ideas of what could be wrong, that's where I'm no longer afraid of potentials, because I am safe, and in here, like, that's my truth. And everything around me just becomes more, I am able to understand what is happening around me, and I'm not freaking out anymore. So I feel that's why, like, instead of saying, oh, I think you should do this, like, I'm shifting to, okay, I feel, because that's what I'm feeling. And so it's just little things like that, just shifting the words and shifting the vibration, shifting the intention. But I was having a blast just listening to you two going off, and then the Arcturians, like, clapping, like, yeah, that's the beautiful thing about humanity. Like, that's amazing.
You know, it's funny that you mentioned Arcturian, because whenever you were talking about the aliens, for some reason I started feeling that Arcturian energy. I'm like, oh, okay, like, is that them coming? I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
Like, just mentioned that. That's funny.
They just come through being like, yeah, keep talking about this.
Yeah, I really resonate with Arcturian energy a lot. What was I gonna say? Oh, yes, feeling instead of thinking. I think that's the biggest piece right there. Like, getting out of your head into your heart. Because whenever you're in your heart, you can access those multidimensional selves. It's through your heart access the fullness of you, the fullness of your divinity. And the mind, like, when you're in your mind, like, it's limited. You can only see whatever your mind has been programmed to see and do. Like, whenever you're thinking, your thinking is whatever you're being programmed to think. Like, it's not the whole truth, you know? Like, when you're in your heart, you can actually see and perceive a lot more. And that's the thing that most people don't realize, that, like, they take a very logical, like, mental approach to life, very, like, oh, like it needs to make logical sense, and that in itself is a trap because you're trapped in your own mind. Like it's limited.
Yeah, and it's so funny that you bring up the mind, because I was doing this just recently, because I was having kind of like, I can always tell when my ego's battling, and I always say, especially when they're negative thoughts or thoughts of like, I can't do this or this isn't going to happen, you know, like around dreams and stuff, I'm always like, okay, this is not my truth. I always nurture myself. So I always look at it as in like, you know what, I'm going to let my mind be heard. I'm going to let my ego be heard, but I know that this is not me. I'm not going to take this. I'm not going to attack myself to any of these thoughts. So, and that has been helping me to really get through, where it's not, you're not suppressing them, but you're not at the same time believing them or taking that as truth and attaching yourself to them. You're just allowing yourself to be expressed and nurturing yourself through the process, and then it goes away, and then you don't have those thoughts. You know what I mean? Or like it's less and less and less, because you're able to, you know, let yourself be. At least that's what helps me.
Agreed.
You know, to like really be like, okay, I'm just gonna hear you out right now, because you deserve to have a voice. You deserve to express yourself. But I'm the one on a heart and soul level that's gonna choose what's my thoughts and what's not. What's my truth and what's not, I should say.
Exactly. And it's, you know, that's important too. It's not denying any aspect of yourself, not denying the experience that comes through, whatever emotion or thought. If it comes through, you stick with it. If it wants your attention, you give it your attention, and then it's on its way. But, you know, when you start suppressing or judging, or like, oh, I shouldn't feel that way, I shouldn't be thinking that, I shouldn't, anytime we're saying I shouldn't, like,
Wow.
you're already in a bad mood.
You're already judging it at that point.
Like,
Like, I shouldn't be doing this right now.
step away from the judging, yeah.
I love it. I love it. I have never loved self-care in my life as once I stepped in my feminine. Like, I am just like, yeah, I love taking care of myself. And we have been taught for like ever that it's selfish and you should always put yourself last, and there's so much more into it, like taking baths or buying products that are good for, that you want to help your skin or your hair, like the littlest freaking things, like taking
water.
Yeah. Like me eating healthy, and I was thinking about this even today because I'm always thinking about it. Eating healthy and finding recipes that are healthy make me full of joy. I have never loved cooking in my life when I started eating healthy, because when you start to take care of yourself, you notice a shift and a difference in how you are and how you even act. Like, when I eat junk, I'd rather go out to eat. I barely cooked. And now that I'm eating so much healthier, it's like I enjoy it. I look forward to it. I'm like, okay, what do I want to buy? What do I want to make? You know what I mean? Because it's like you're taking care of yourself. And I feel like it's so important because it raises our vibration. And that's when we're able to give to the fullest extent, when we're taking care of ourselves.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
I know you have to leave a leg now, but we could
I'm
talk.
like,
All right, sounds good.
All right, bye.